Microsoft Theater here in downtown Los Angeles. Brought to you by Shawn Porter Promotions.
Relax.
I'm just saying.
Is he really
He's an idiot.
you really just... That's a 90-10 fight. And don't say nothing, just leave it at that.
Yeah.
And I give it less. I give it 5 rounds.
Man, y'all ever looked at your phone and you had a whole bunch of messages?
No, because I'm responsible. I look at them when they come in.
It's intimidating.
Nah. What is up with you, man? How many, what do you be doing with your life?
Listen, what I just clicked on was like 70-something from y'all.
Let me also just say, for anyone that may feel personally left out in the cold about Shawn's responses, I've been one of Shawn's best friends for over a decade, and you get a response, usually.
I don't know what you do, but after a while.
No, shut up.
Usually, I mean.
After a while, I'm calling.
Yeah.
I'm calling. I'll be like, hey, man,
he's
this ain't.
FaceTiming. That's
He
the issue.
FaceTimed you?
100%.
FaceTime you today.
Yeah, he literally FaceTimed me today.
A piece of me just was wondering if he was going to answer. The other piece of me just really wanted to.
First off, you knew I wasn't going to answer. There was no piece of you wondering that.
Welcome to the PorterWay Podcast. Excited to have Carson A. Merck in the studio today, of course. And
2 T's. This dude made a jacket. It says Antt
with 2 T's.
With
2 T's. That's what it's supposed to say.
What's funny about that is that literally started just because Antt was saying his Instagram handle.
Yeah, and I was just explaining.
He was like, yeah, it's Antt with 2 T's. And everyone was like, yo, shit, Antt with 2 T's. And
that's what I get.
I was like,
when people come up and say what's up to me.
Yeah.
Don't start that.
And I feel like when I say Antt and I just say A-N-T, they're like, yeah, it's 2 T's. I'm like, oh, yo, let's be cool.
Let's be honest and let's be real, and then we'll just move on. From a business standpoint, how long ago did I tell you, hey, start branding that?
I already branded it. It has 2 T's on it.
Then how I ain't know what to do?
Because
I did the right thing. I don't give a damn.
Carson, he wrote it out.
Antt with 2 T's.
Antt with 2
Yeah,
T's.
that's crazy.
I know y'all tired of hearing this, but did you? But you ain't branded because I don't
talking about
know.
this conversation? Or,
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I didn't know how many times this has come up.
Yeah, you ain't
We've
been
been
watching the show.
arguing.
Has this
We've
been
been
a thing
arguing.
for a while?
Yeah, we've been arguing. Especially last week in
I
Dallas.
did though. I tried to look out for you. I sent this dude like every combination known to man.
Hey, that was one of the times I ain't responding to him.
Yeah, I get
It was too-
shit.
it was
I
too
was like, the fuck?
You guys talking about this
on
last week's show?
No, Dallas.
I was
like,
because I went through last week's show. Shout out to our guy Hafey. I was helping him out. I was like, is this the fucking bagel guy?
Yeah.
What is happening here?
Who?
The bagel guy. The
bagel
on the episode. I'm sitting there doing the time, and I'm like, who is the bagel guy? What's going on?
Yeah.
Shout out to the bagel guy though. Very generous with the super chats.
Carson's here helping out. Got a heavy workload.
And so you brought in a heavy guy. Is
for
that
our
the
producer?
bar you were kicking in there?
And so we brought in this guy right here to help out with everything. And that also means he gets to grace the podcast with his presence. I know you don't like that.
Thank you.
I know you don't like it, but it kind of is what it
Thank
is,
you for your kindness.
You are a fan's fave.
Oh, yeah, they love him.
I'm hopeful, and I don't know.
Here we go.
I kind of want to sandbag this episode a little bit because I do feel like we're past the fans
100.
missing me and
No.
Carrie.
Hell no.
It's just like, yo, Carson's there.
Hey,
I'm hopeful.
hey, shout out to the dude George last week. Thought Hafey was you.
Oh yeah, we're pretty similar guys. You see me on the deadlifts, but I'm hopeful we're past that. So I'm hoping the comments are like, yeah, I actually didn't miss Carson that much. That'll be fine.
Real quick, because you play football.
Yeah.
Did you ever show up at weight? How was it for you showing up at weight?
I
You tried to
avoid
because I know you
at all costs.
But when you did show up, what was the
Don't embarrass yourself or get injured was typically I'll thank, shout out to
I feel like
my
I seen
dad.
you lift serious one time where you just
I
dead.
think they had to, I had to max out.
Yeah.
Like you always had, that was the
feel like
rule,
I
you
was
had to
there for
max
that.
out. And I feel like thankfully I have a natural strength from my dad because he's a stronger guy. So I wasn't the worst.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
when they put something on there,
Yeah.
I could get one done and be like, yep, that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
I'm good. But no.
Anyway, not here to talk about that. We got a lot to get into.
Before we get too far into the show, I would like to congratulate Stephen Fulton.
Damn, I thought you was going to congratulate me.
Defending his WBC, WBO super bantamweight title.
I'm really excited for that fight. Obviously,
No, the fight happened.
Oh yeah, that fight was crazy, man. But
I'm still trying to figure out how to release this. So.
We just have to deal. We've done this before. It is what it is. The fight has already happened by the time you're seeing this. By the time you were recording this, it has not happened yet.
If he didn't win, hell of a fight. He defended his titles best he could.
Yeah.
But Inoue is a monster, and he proved to you why he's the monster.
It's gonna be a great fight.
How do you see this fight going?
I'm gonna look so stupid if it goes wrong, but I think
No, you're fine.
I lean towards Inoue. This fight. So shout out to my guy Sibby Boxing. He asked a question a while ago of what you feel more confident in, your pick for Fulton-Inoue or your pick for Spence Crawford. Not just to me, but generally.
Yeah, of
and
course.
they're such close fights, and it's like, damn, you really got to think about it. I actually feel more confident in my Spence pick than I do against the Monster. Is the best fighter on the planet. Pound for pound. Number one. And so, like, I lean towards him.
Until Saturday.
Fulton is unbelievable.
Would you say the Monster is multi-dimensional?
Yeah, of course.
But have you seen him legitimately be multi-dimensional?
Yeah.
From a standpoint of being able, obviously we know he can punch.
Yeah.
We've seen him get to the body. But
He's a box people before.
I really haven't seen him stay on the outside and counter punch.
Do you think that's what he's going to have to do against Fulton, though?
It's not the point. The point is you just call him the number one fighter on the planet.
Pound for pound.
But you got to be able to do it all.
Yeah.
Who they fight? I mean, you can say that for Crawford. Who they fight?
Damn.
Oh, really? We're going to say that for Crawford?
Yeah,
We'll get to that.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, I
but
get
you
it.
know what I'm saying?
We'll see.
Yeah.
He's going to have to show a lot. I lean towards him, but not by much, because Fulton is very multidimensional.
And that's my
He's the
thing.
bigger guy.
Yeah.
No, it's gonna be. I think that will be the better fight of the two.
I think we always say styles make fights, and it's going to be one or the other. Either the pressure gets to the fight, Fulton's going to move, he's going to counter punch. He's probably going to try to turn, get to the body here and there, but I think for the most part, he's going to want to play this one from the outside.
Yeah.
I think he'll switch a little bit through the course of the entire fight.
Inoue is gonna have to.
I think Inoue's going to force him to switch too. Yeah. I think it's going to be moments he's moving this way, and he's just going to have to flip it.
I think he's gonna have to really make Fulton feel his power early.
Yeah.
Because then Fulton's gonna have to be moving.
And by this time, you guys have no answers to.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, so,
but I want to say this because I noticed something about the Monster. He takes punches.
Yeah.
And I was watching another fight. I'm not gonna say what fight it was, but I noticed it's like he's his own worst enemy, or could become his own worst enemy in this fight, because that forward movement, that forward pressure, if it moves into the rhythm of Fulton, you know what I'm saying? And Fulton is able to slide, boom, boom, slide, boom, boom. He's comfortable with that.
Yeah.
And so that pressure, of course, playing devil's advocate, that pressure could become a bit too much. But at the same time, I think it's gonna move into what Fulton wants.
And people obviously styles make fights. Styles make fights. But you look at, like, he has a close fight. I didn't think it was drastically close against Brandon Figueroa.
Yeah.
Pressure fighter, obviously.
Shout out to his sister.
I thought it was
Pretty close fight.
drastically close.
People think Fulton lost.
Oh, yeah,
which I don't think. I thought he won. But, like, it was a close fight.
Yeah.
So if you look at that, and I think Inoue is a more diverse talent than Figueroa is. So it'll be a good fight. But you already know. You already know what'll happen. So yeah. And then do we want to start with the other ESPN action?
Sure.
Yesterday?
Yeah.
So where we want to start? Opener, Stephen Shaw, surprise loss.
No.
I was like Keyshawn Davis.
Yo, you want to go there? Well, so people might think I'm here for Spence Crawford. Let me tell you the real reason I'm here. I'm not sure if either of you guys know where I'm going with this. No, that's a good one. But you know who else fought yesterday? And some say got an unjust
That
decision.
is not why you're here.
No, it's not. It was a great reason. You know who else fought? Tell him, SP. Tell him.
Eric Bonet fought
Eric
yesterday.
Bonet was back in the
I
building.
seen that
Saturday.
in the co-main event. He lost the decision.
Yeah.
I meant to look that up.
It was a close fight.
A close fight with Shawn Porter too.
I was just talking about him.
Almost whooped his ass when he rolled his
He
ankle.
rolled his ankle. He would be.
Hey, I will never forget that fight for some
Yeah,
reason.
if he didn't roll his ankle, he'd be talking about fighting Spence Crawford.
All right, truth, and then we'll move forward. Deck asked me when we were on our way to Boston, have you ever fought somebody and you were like, wow? I said, no, not really. I said, everybody is who I expected them to be. I said, but the one that really caught us by surprise was Eric Bonet.
Yeah, he looked good yesterday.
Yeah,
guy.
Yeah, I'm a big Eric Bonet fan.
I mean, like, he has like this
as former of the podcast.
I'm a big fan of him.
Never even seen him fight outside of fighting me.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing about it. It made me so I'm a fan.
Some people thought he got robbed. Some people thought he got robbed yesterday. I thought it was a close enough fight that I didn't think either way.
Yeah.
But other than that, on that card, there were a few heavyweight fights. Troy Isley and Keyshawn both fought. They both won. They both, I think, had moments that weren't maybe as great as we've expected from them. But
hell of a shot by Keyshawn with the counter.
yeah, absolutely.
Woo-wee.
Nice little slip right hand.
Yeah, I do want to say this about Troy. Troy, I saw improvement.
Mm-hmm.
I just see him working.
Yeah.
And I think that it's almost like running a mile. You know what I mean? Usually the one that works hard is the one that's going to win at the end of the day. It's not the one who starts off the fastest, and it's not the one who saves it all for the end. It's the one who's working and being consistent. And that's one thing about Choi to this point. I say that from a personal standpoint, him approaching me on multiple occasions, asking me, hey, what do you think? What's the da-da-da-da-da? And then the other side of that is when I see it live when he fights, and I just see the energy is different, or I see the movements are a little different, and he's improving. I'm not comparing him to Andre Ward by any means, but early on in Andre's career, everybody expected, I think, a little bit more than he was giving. But look how he ended his career. And I kind of see that with Troy, where it's like, again, he ain't got off to the fastest start, but he's going to build to something. And I'm looking forward to seeing what that becomes.
And like Keyshawn, I know he's considered like this uber elite prospect, which I don't have any personal doubts that he will be that. But
he is mean.
But it's kind of, he has to deal with both sides of it. He's going to get a lot of praise because of that, where people are like, Keyshawn's next up. You throw him into these fantasy matchups. Andy Cruz, like everyone lines up. But then he has a performance last night, which was good.
But it wasn't elite.
But it wasn't great. Like, it wasn't like he gave himself, I think, a C+ or a B-. Like, I'd probably put you in that ballpark.
Yeah.
But now people are like, oh, Keyshawn Davis. Because he's
stop.
this high. And so it's like, you kind of deal with it on both sides. I think he's a great talent, but see what he does.
It's a part of watching somebody grow right in front of your eyes. They're going to have their ups, they're going to have their downs.
Which
and we're very judgmental in boxing. What have you done for us lately?
And it's very much different in this era compared to even Shawn's era of like, somebody go find me Shawn's, I don't know, what is that, like
13, 7,
like
8,
that was
9 fight, like find Shawn Porter's 9th fight. Like it's not that available. Like we see him, he was the co-main event. Like so it's just different, like the accessibility of it, and then also the hype. We know more about the amateur boxing champions. But
working on it.
Yeah.
Work in progress.
That's still going on?
It's coming soon.
I was trying to figure out how I was going to do this because I never want to give anybody the impression that if you're not fighting like me, you're not excited. If you're not fighting like me, you're not doing it. Not saying that at all. And I actually just figured out a way to do this right here
right
in
now.
person. So the patience that he showed, great. But you got to have multiple paces, and you got to have multiple gears. And the way I defend that statement is by saying I had practically one gear, and it was a high gear. And I could have pulled back. You know what I mean? I could have showed more patience. I could have been more polished in a lot of the fights that I had. And so it's like where I'm saying, hey, you know, I didn't have a great way of changing my pace and my gear through a fight to go up and down or come down at certain points. He's got to learn how to go up. Because people want that strong finish. You got that beautiful pullback counter right hand. You drop dude, flexed in his face. I was like, let's go. And then that balloon just kind of...
Is that something you can learn?
Absolutely.
Like, is that something you can... Or is that like in his nature? Or is that something where he has to like...
I don't... Because I thought his nature was to... Forgive the terminology, but... seek and destroy. I thought that was his nature.
Plus who he's in camp with.
But I didn't really see that last night.
Good point.
You know?
And
again, I mean, you talking about who he's in camp with, Terence Crawford is a finisher. You know what I mean? Where we've said in the past that we've seen Keyshawn and he reminded us a lot of Terence. Last night I was actually saying Shakur Stevenson.
Okay.
And they're all pals.
They're all pals. So I think, again, Shakur is someone he has his pace. And he forces everybody to fight his pace. I'm really interested to see how some of the fights that he could be in, primarily Devin Haney. I'm really curious to see how the pace of that fight ends up, because you got one who's fast, you got one who's not slow, but definitely patient,
more methodical.
And this is where we're fighting at. And so I'm really want to see that. But overall, like you said, not the elite performance. I personally think that if he had turned it up some more, that's where we would have been, dazzled.
Again, rather learning a victory than learning a loss. Like, obviously.
That's one thing I hate. Well, what have you done for you lately?
I mean,
the boxing.
And there's so many where we like nitpick some. I mean, I don't think that guy went around. So,
no.
Okay.
Are you here for the main event of this ESPN fight?
Yeah, we can. I mean, we can
No.
mention.
What are you here for?
Big Bosa. He was here for Eric Bonet.
Yeah, it was Bonet. Well, that was what
Was it really?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's why I was joking. Yeah, But
Go ahead and call him corny or something. You
Yeah,
want to
that's
call
fine.
him something.
Yeah.
Go ahead, get it off.
yeah. And then we go main event, and that could be somebody that maybe Shakur ends up fighting.
The Spartan Blood.
I thought Maxi Hughes won. It
too.
was kind of a weird, like, why was there bad scorecards on that fight? Like, what
117,
like,
111.
I'm watching that and I'm like,
Hey,
Kambosos he just can't figure it out.
I left
dealing with a boxer.
and came back for the scorecards, I said, uh-oh.
Yeah. When I heard the draw, the first scorecard was 114. I was like, really? You had that a draw? And then I heard the next one. I was like, okay, that's wide for Hughes. Like,
Hughes
okay.
clearly won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kambosos, more power to him. I don't think he won at all. And he mentioned, like,
Just a little bit.
in the post-fight when he was saying, yeah, he had a couple good rounds, but I won most of them. I was like, nah, not really. He won most of the rounds. But, yeah, I don't know. I just wasn't, like, I didn't have lofty expectations for Kambosos. I know based on the episode last week, neither of you guys were, like, super jazzed up to see him back in there. But, like, more power to him. Came over here. I thought he lost.
Not to seem as if I'm turning my back on the guy or anything like that.
Yeah, okay, fighter. Like, he kind of is what he is.
And I want to kind of go back to, and I always like to say, like, I was studying that fight when they were initially supposed to fight, and I thought that there could be a surprise in that fight with Kambosos and Teofimo Lopez. Obviously, it ended up being that. But when you look at this young man's feet and how he boxes extremely erect. The right foot is completely turned out and flat-footed. He has no mobility.
Yeah.
And where I saw him be explosive, which is why I thought that he could do something with Teo, I just don't see him being explosive anymore. I think that what we have seen is someone who had a moment, and that moment has sure enough passed to the point where we can say, hey, now it's only a matter of time before you put him in the ring with...
Put him... Like, maybe I don't know. Put him in there with somebody that can bang.
If I'm Teo, let me get that get
You
back.
mean to get something better out of him, right?
Yeah, because all right, so now we've gone
There's no
three
bangers.
fights.
There's no bangers at this point.
Like Murataya, like
I mean,
is a decent, like, he's at 135.
What, he got
like,
the IBO now?
something like that, yeah.
Supposed to be big in Australia.
But I'm just like, so you had 2 fights with Devin where he just completely outboxed, like, boxed your face off.
Yeah.
And then you fight Maxi Hughes, who, he's an okay fighter. Like,
he's not a great mover.
He's not a great fighter. Like, he's okay. But he pieced him up. Like, so you have to put him in there with somebody that can just firefight. He clearly he's not Punk. Mm-hmm. We can all agree on that, Kambosos. Yeah. Whether it's the fights he's taken, whether it's how he is in the ring, like, Punk. It's like, put him in there with somebody that you're just going to sit there and rumble.
Pitbull Cruz.
Yeah.
Just let him throw him things.
And one thing that I did notice that I have to point out.
Okay.
So there were a couple moments of, like, there were some glancing elbows that Hughes hit him with. And I was like, wow, dang, like, coincidental, whatever. And then I saw who was taking off his gloves at the end of the fight, and it was Josh Warrington. I was like, it all makes sense now. It all lines up now. But, I don't know. Kambosos, put him in there. Like, I don't think there was a fix. It was just a very weird fight to have those kinds of scorecards for. And Kambosos is clearly the guy that you can put in there with Shakur Stevenson. But...
Yeah, I feel like right now he's a gatekeeper.
Yeah, I'm not even sure about that. Like, he fought Maxi Hughes yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, Maxi Hughes.
True understanding what a gatekeeper is.
Yeah.
George Kambosos is
he's not an easy night for anybody. Yeah. Except for Devin.
quote unquote name.
Yeah.
That night with Teo, the Teo we seen fight Josh Taylor.
More power to him.
Pieces him up.
Yeah, of course.
Teo adds more movement to his game.
Yeah.
It's an easy night for Teo.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's worth going back and getting that.
I doubt it. And Kambosos got to move to 40. Like, maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. So, I don't know. He's in a weird spot.
He won. Credit to him.
Hey, he's an IBO champion. He wears that proudly.
Hey,
is he the IBO champion?
Yeah. If Hughes was the champion, yeah. I've never been in the boxing ring, so I would aspire to be an IBO champion.
Sean, you never had IBO, huh?
No.
Never inspired for IBO?
No.
You should have went after Jeff Horn.
All respect to the IBO. Yeah, they have a gym out here, or used to have a gym out here.
Again, more power to him. I don't know. It was kind of a weird night of boxing. But
Crawford Spence.
Yeah. We want to go through the undercard briefly?
We're gonna do our bets, or what we want to talk about? Oh, damn, I forgot about the undercards.
I don't even understand what anything you just said was. So, all right, moving forward.
Undercard it is.
Undercard. So the opening fight is Sergio Garcia, who we've seen fight in person, and Shawn was feeling very sad that he was getting hurt in front of his son against Tony Harrison.
You remember that?
Yeah, 100%. He was supposed to fight one of the Ramos brothers, or not the Ramos, they're brothers.
The uncle family.
One of the other uncle and nephew. Yeah,
yeah.
Supposed to be the uncle, right? I think.
I thought it was
The-
supposed to
the-
be. No,
the
I think
nephew
it
should have
was.
filled in.
I think it was supposed to be the
All right,
nephew.
well, whoever.
Yeah, I
should've
think it
been.
was supposed to be. I think it was supposed to be Jesus, but now he's gonna fight Yoenis Tellez, either Tellez or
You're right.
yeah, Yoenis Tellez. He's like a young Cuban phenom. Be an interesting fight. I mean, we saw Garcia give Fundora a pretty tough time. For the young Cuban fighter, like that's a pretty big step up. Like Garcia's been in there now with Harrison and Fundora, and Tellez or Tellez is pretty young in his career, so that'll be the opener. We'll see how that one goes. The next one, I'm trying to think of, does it go? Okay, Nonito. So Nonito fights Santiago. So that was gonna be on the fight on the Frank Martin card, and then now they moved it to this one. I'm not.
Oh, to make the card better?
Maybe. I'm not positive why.
You said to make the card better.
Yeah, I think it improves it for sure. Nonito, as long as he's not fighting the monster, like he's got a pretty good shot of winning fight.
Nonito's still out there.
Yeah, so we'll see what he ends up doing. He's fighting now for one of the bantamweight titles that Inoue vacated, moving up. So that'll be a good fight. Santiago, like he's an okay fighter. Got some losses. He lost to, I think, Gary Antonio Russell. But then co-main, Pitbull Cruz
Undefeated fighter.
against Giovanni Cabrera, who we saw beat Gabe Flores,
Yep.
where he dropped him like 5 seconds into the fight. He's a good fighter. Isaac Cruz has made quite a name on surviving the distance with Tank Davis.
That's crazy, huh?
Like,
That's literally.
like I get it. You know, if that's like he's an explosive enough fighter, like I don't think he needs to really like make his name off of that, but that just seems to be something they keep going back to. So like I don't know, that annoys me to some extent, but yeah, that one is definitely it should be a good fight. Cabrera, kind of a come forward fighter. I think a fighter that can give Cruz trouble is more of a boxer, but
Why'd you put this on the screen?
I mean, take that home.
unbelievable.
Was your number up there?
Just
No,
unprofessional.
I don't think so.
Oh, that'd be crazy.
We'll clear that up.
Oh,
Number
okay.
up there, just unprofessional.
Yeah, and I stand by it. I just don't think that that's a fight we'll ever see again.
I actually hope we don't at this point.
Who?
Just
What?
Cruz and Tank.
I
Like,
want that.
I don't
want
want to
that.
see it again.
I want him to
keep
clean him
telling
up.
him,
If it
DC.
does happen, fine. Like
And
Tank,
DC.
two healthy hands, knock him out and say, hey, you got.
Yeah.
You know what it reminds me of? Go back to the earlier fight on the card with Nonito and the Monster. The first fight, he broke Inoue's orbital bone. It's a close-ish fight, and everyone's like, Nonito gave him a tough time. They fight a second time, and he kicks the dog shit out of him. So like.
Yeah.
Nonito was winning the first round.
No, he was not.
He was
and Sean
literally-
texted me. I don't know if we talked about that at the time.
Yeah,
he was like,
yeah.
I think, and then he gets floored.
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
the
yeah.
second round just gets his
I was
doors
like,
blown off.
dang.
I was like, come on, man.
Sean was hurt. He was hurt on that loss.
But I think Cruz wins. Cabrera's good, but I think he's too much of a come forward fighter, and I think Cruz is gonna feast on that.
Yeah. Well, listen, we got Coach Barry Hunter in the waiting room. I wanted to preview some of this fight before we get him on, but we're not going to do that.
Okay.
We're gonna bring him in now.
Let's get the expert point.
Yes. I'm usually the expert, but we got Coach Barry Hunter here.
Hey guys, what's up, y'all?
No,
What's
we
up,
good.
Coach?
Good. Everybody's good, huh?
You want me to turn that down?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll turn it.
Bless and black, you know.
Less than white, I suppose.
No, you can't say that.
Okay, fair
Can't
enough.
say that. Can't say that.
Coach Barry.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Hey, listen, I'm gonna start this bad boy off, create a little narrative, and then I'm gonna let these two kind of take over. When do you remember first seeing Terence Crawford box?
The first time I seen that I saw Terence, it wasn't live. I saw him fight against Bradis Prescott.
No. I'm talking about as an I'm talking about I'm
Oh,
going
in the
all the way
amateurs.
back.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. That was some years ago, man. And it's crazy because Terence was one of those guys like the Charlos that, they were good fighters, but, who knew that he would become what he became?
Yeah.
Even top ranked, to be honest with you, when they first got a glimpse of Terence, they wasn't impressed with him. And Chris Mittendorf, then, who was handling Terence's business at the time, I believe he was in a managerial role, Chris kept taking him to top rank. And once Terence got that break to fight Brady Prescott, the rest is history, pretty much. He wasn't putting those fights to so-called win, but he kept turning that apple cart over. And, what can I say?
Coach Barry, can you kind of recall when you saw Terence as an amateur, whether he was 9, 10, 15, and kind of recall what you saw out of him as a youngster, which kind of could explain who he is now as a pro?
He when I saw him in the amateurs, Terence, we had a kid, just like Terence Crawford, it's almost carbon copy. And that's what caught my eye, because he reminded me of a kid we used to have named R.G. Tyler. God rest his soul, he passed away. But when I saw Terence, it reminded me so much of Quick, which made me look at him. And I believe he was, he was in the class with Gary Russell and them. So he was in his, I want to say teens, probably early to mid-teens. And you knew he had some flavor with him, because like I said, Quick was special too. And he reminded me so much of Quick. I thought that, he did have the potential to become what he became.
That's my point. And then what about Errol? When did you catch wind of Errol as an amateur?
The first time I saw Errol was, of course, we were all on a U.S. team together. Errol was about 17 and 16, 17. In fact, him and Day Grayton fought each other in the Nationals in the Golden Glove Finals, which is when I first saw him. And he was a good fighter then. And they had a war. We came out on the high end of that fight. But he ended up, of course, being a member of the U.S. team. And in fact, if I recall correctly, Shawn, you were up there, one of the ones helping Errol, along with Lamont, Adrian Bronner. There were so many of you guys up there helping those guys out.
Yeah.
Errol was one of the kids that y'all was helping at the time.
Yeah. Yep. I remember Jorge Linares was there. They had
Jorge, that's right.
Coach Freddie Roach was there. Of course, my dad was there. Quite a few.
Mike Stafford.
Quite a few coaches. And remember back then they just were trying to get the amateurs ready for basically going up against pros, because they said, these amateurs are staying amateurs so long, they might as well be pro in the other countries. And so they thought that, hey, let's try to give our fighters a better chance here in the States by having them train with pros. And I don't remember how that whole team panned out, but
100%. And to add on to that, another Errol Spence story. Of course, once we were on the U.S. team, and Errol was the type then, when he was younger, that if he felt as though he wasn't training enough, he would have a problem with it. And so his dad called me one day. He called home, and his dad called me, and and we were, when I spoke to his father, I was kind of joking with his dad, but I could tell his energy was different this day. And I said, "What's the matter?" And he said, "Errol, they're not training enough up there." Well, you know how Colorado was at that time. There was a lot of meetings going on, but I told him what I would do. I would end up going back to the gym with him later on. So he was that kid that, you'd have to stop training, because he would train until he passed out almost.
And what you see out of Errol now, this is something that you certainly expected when you saw him back then?
Absolutely. Yeah. If you think about it, when we were, of course, in the camps, he did extremely well in the camps. In fact, it was Lamont who said that he was working with Errol. And it was Lamont who said that if he hangs, if he stays in there, he can be world champion.
Yeah.
And he said it just like that. And so, yes, I've seen Errol in international competition. I've taken him to international competition. And each time, every time, he's always stood up and I knew he would be something special if no outside forces got in the way.
And Coach Barry, you faced Errol Spence, I think, twice in your career, in this professional
2
career?
times. Well, once in the amateurs,
Okay.
twice in the pros. Of course, with Shawn, and once with Lamont.
What have you noticed that continues getting better by Errol Spence?
Well, I would say that his IQ grew. Definitely, of course, from the amateurs and from the fights that he were in. Errol going up against at the time when he fought Lamont, when Lamont first started working with him years ago in the amateurs. Of course, it was a big difference at the time because he's a young guy. He was still just growing, and he got a little frustrated because he couldn't do what he wanted to do that particular time. But of course, fight after fight, national after national, international competition, and then the pros, and you can see him starting to turn and starting to flip all the way over. I think after maybe his second or third big fights, you start to see him evolve even more.
What do you think?
As a professional.
We always talk about like a boxer's boxer. Like as a boxing mind, what is your favorite thing about Errol? And what's your favorite thing about Bud? You just watch and you're like, damn, that makes him special.
Well, number one, both of those guys have unbelievable wills to win. They refuse. I mean, you can hurt them, you can drop them, you can daze them, or do whatever. But they are not the type of. Checking in is not in their DNA. Neither guy. Errol, if you go back to the fight with Shawn, and I think we all agree on this, Shawn was leading or winning that fight. But not one time in that fight did he yield or even think about yielding in that fight. He kept pressing forward, kept pressing forward, kept pressing forward. And it wasn't like Shawn didn't hurt him too. You know what I mean? And he kept pressing forward until he got that one shot off, which I think swayed the judge's mind into that fight. I still had it a draw. But nevertheless, not one time in that fight did he break down. The average fighter that go up against a Shawn Porter has never been a regular fighter, ever. Anybody that deal with a Shawn Porter the way he dealt with Shawn that night, and to be able to keep pressing forward the way he did, that speaks volume about, the character of the fighter.
What about
the type
Bud?
of fighter that is.
What about Bud? What stands out about him?
Bud, the thing that makes Bud special to me is his ability to make adjustments on the fly. Same thing. Go back to the fight with Shawn. Again, Shawn was winning that fight. And he didn't panic. He was kind of confused early on. Shawn kind of had him off balance a little bit early on. But he stayed the course. And then when he was informed that he was losing the fight or he was behind in the fight, flipped the switch. And he turned up from there. So the thing I really love about Bud is his ability to make adjustments on the fly. Against whomever, whatever style, be they bigger, faster, stronger than him, he always find a way to make an adjustment.
Coach Barry, as a whole, I know that you're like really looking forward to this fight, looking forward to being out here. What do you think this fight's going to look like?
I would have liked to have seen, all honesty, this fight about 3 or 4 years ago. But I think because of both guys' will to win, I think because of their, let's face it, they got egos and nobody wants to lose. I think that right button push here or there, we could be in for a real special night. I think that what really will make this fight exciting, we know Bud can box, Errol can box too, but it's been a while, since I seen Errol actually box. Yeah. Bud fights even-handed. They both have good power. The fact that neither one wants to lose and they have that will, I think you're gonna see explosions, man. Somewhere along in that night, that fight, it's gonna be a war.
You got a pick?
Who you picked to win this fight, Coach?
He thinking about it.
I'm thinking about it. Here's what I say.
I was like, he's got a thinking face on. Damn, Antt, come on.
I thought he paused.
That's what I say. I'm gonna put my feelings out off. I'm gonna throw that out the door right now because I'm close to Errol, and Terence is a great guy too, and his team. I think that as far as pathways to victory, you have to look at Terence because of him being able to switch hit the way he does. He can fight inside, outside. He can box or he can fight. And that's not in no way suggesting that Errol cannot win this fight. I think that Terence, his flaws, sometimes he tend to get a little ballsy and he'll war with you. You know what I mean? And that definitely a play into Errol Spence's favor, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I got it maybe 50-50.
Yeah, gotta be 50-50. Y'all heard it there.
Yeah.
The elite of the elites.
Well, the
It's
best,
50-50.
one of the best minds in the game.
So get off
Coach
my
Barry
back.
Hunter. Yeah.
Okay. Coach Barry.
Thank you, guys.
I look forward
appreciate
to I look forward to seeing you next week, Barry, and this will not be the last time you join the podcast. Appreciate you.
Man, thank you guys for having me.
Yes,
All right,
sir.
Coach.
Thank you, Coach. Stay blessed.
Thank you.
And I'm super excited about this partnership we got going on with DraftKings.
Why is that?
Because we get to help people.
We love to help.
We love to help, and we would love to help you. What we want you to do, go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, download that bad boy right now, put in our promo code TPWP, and tell them what's going to happen.
You're going to bet $5, you're going to get $150 bonus bets instantly.
And you want to do that because we got a great fight coming up this weekend. Terence Crawford and Errol Spence.
World champs.
World champs.
Undefeated.
Undefeated.
You seen them both.
Seen them both.
Up and close.
50-50. So what you do is you go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, download that bad boy right now, put in our promo code TPWP, tell them what's going to happen then.
You're going to bet $5, you're going to get $150 in bonus bets. You can't beat that.
And you can't
Hell
even
of
do
a
that with
deal.
your hands. You just go ahead and download it, bad boy.
And want to thank DraftKings for sponsoring this segment of the show.
Absolutely. We'll get back to Barry, or we'll get back to this conversation. We want to do this sponsored segment real quick, sponsored by DraftKings.
Yes. DraftKings segment, right, this portion of the podcast, DraftKings. Shawn, are you ready?
No, I'm not.
I'm going to put you on the spot.
All right, let's do it.
Hey, we got 3 bets that I need to know. Are you going to help me get rich?
All right.
All right. So wild card.
Help you get rich.
Yeah.
Help you get rich.
Yeah, I'm trying to get rich.
Come on, let's do it.
Wild card pick of the night. This is a wild card pick now, Shawn.
All right.
If you put up $1,000, you win $100,000.
Ooh.
Oh, I got your attention.
That's a lot.
I got your attention.
I have that. So let's talk about
What's
it.
the chances of Errol ending this fight in 3 rounds by a TKO?
Oh my gosh. That's a wild card.
That's a wild card.
Wild card.
It's a wild card.
While we said that this is a 50-50 fight, I would honestly say that is it's an 80% chance that does not happen.
So take that 20.
I think that is
By that it means 20,000.
That's a wild card bet to make right there.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. We already know energy is going to be max for both these guys. We already know mentally I'm ready to take you out. I think that if Errol sees something early on, I just don't see that punch landing that early. I think that's 3 rounds in. And I think that both fighters I think they're going to have that fill-out period in the first round, maybe even still in the second round. It's going to get heated in the 3rd round. Don't make that pick. That ain't a good one.
Okay. A popular pick. This is a lot of people talk about.
Make the pick if you got a G, though, because I'm probably...
Hey, that's $100,000.
Man, listen.
That's a good investment.
You put 5, I put 5.
That's a lot of dough.
50K. All right. So another popular pick. A lot of people saying
And let's talk offline about that,
this
too.
could happen. Okay. One of the most famous picks is Crawford betting 100 on Crawford to win by KO. You bet 100, you win back 380. What's the chance of Crawford getting a stoppage before any time in the fight?
Well, I mean, let's look at the statistics right there and look at the fact that no one at 147 has gone the distance with him. But both these fighters we see have the ability to turn it on and keep it up at a high level for the duration of a fight. I also would say that that's maybe even closer to 70% chance, 75% chance that does not happen. I don't see Terence getting the late round stoppage against Errol Spence Jr. Let's not forget that Errol is the kind of fighter that, looks like he gets stronger as the fight goes on. It's not really that. It's so much that his momentum picks up because that fighter is weakening. You know what I mean? Okay. So we've seen Errol weaken fighters, and we've seen Terence knock him out. I think when you put that together and do the math, we don't see a late round stoppage by Terence.
All right, and the odds on that is plus 280. So $100 get you 380. All right, I'm gonna go with like my pick. This is what I'm betting, and this is a 50-50 fight. I'm literally only betting this because I'm getting it's a plus by my money.
Yes, sir.
So I go ahead and throw down $100. I end up getting back $220. Errol Spence, just money line, wins the fight, plus 120. So what's the chances of Errol winning this fight?
50-50. Okay. This is a 50-50 fight when you talk about, hey, I got to bet my last dollar in order for me to survive this next year.
Yeah.
Who do I put my money on? Honestly, betting Errol could be a safe pick.
Yeah.
Ben Errol could be the safe pick because we have seen him be strong. We have seen him weather storms. We know what he's been through outside of the ring. I personally think that has built him up and made him even stronger inside of the ring. And so I think when you look at it and you say, if this fight goes to distance, who wins this fight? I think you're looking at possibly Errol Spence Jr.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
even though I have a 50-50, I'm telling y'all from a bettor's perspective, if you wanted to bet either way.
And you would obviously want to bet on DraftKings.
Yes. Yeah, if you're going to bet DraftKings, because this segment of the podcast is brought to you by DraftKings. Download the DraftKings app, put up $5, end up getting a $150 instant bonus bets.
Yes, sir.
That's for new customers. New customers only.
New customers only. Use promo
code TPWP. Download the app right now. DraftKings. What is it? DraftKings
Sportsbook app.
Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. New signees, you bet $5, you get $150 back in bonus bets. So go ahead over to the DraftKings right now. Download that bad boy, and we appreciate them for sponsoring this segment.
Thank you, DraftKings.
Thank you, DraftKings.
Yeah. Hey, did you see how I set you up last week? See what I did to him?
Oh, about the fish fry?
You haven't been watching?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a little worn out about that stuff.
About Shawn Porter?
I'm just worn out
very
in
much
general.
about that guy. No, the whole every post that Terence has is about the fish fry. Everything that Errol says is it's fun. Like I get it, whatever. Also, I'm not sure if this is a purposeful thing, but it's also Shark Week this week.
That's what.
Which I feel like
shout out to Dane.
That might be some master marketing.
On the way here, talking about, hey, it's beginning of Shark Week.
I saw a Shark Week ad pop up, and I was like, happy damned. I mean, there's nothing that favors the big fish.
And crawfish season is over.
Have they played on it?
No, they just started.
Just started. We'll see if
Carson's like, I'm over it.
But it is an interesting little tie-in, though. I thought that was interesting. But
man, this is the one, man. We've been waiting on this. Shawn almost effed this up twice. This is the fight, man. What else can you want for it? We've been. Coach Barry said he wanted it 3 years ago. I'm okay with it happening right now. To be honest, I think those guys did everything they did on their side to make the fight happen. Errol was a man of his word. Terence handled his business in the ring. We getting 2 undefeated world champions. No losses. Never lost. One guy's stopping everybody at 147. One guy's beating everybody at 147. Taking eyes. Did he ever take your eye?
Absolutely.
He almost did.
No one did.
What was that shot at?
Slow yourself down.
Okay.
Listen.
you never really had major swelling.
No, he got cuts.
Did you ever have like major swelling in a fight?
Not
I don't
from
really remember.
punches.
Well,
not from punches.
Head buzz.
Slow
Clearly.
down.
But did you ever have like your eye ever like swell shut or anything?
Listen, because when you say both these guys is undefeated,
Yeah.
these are like true undefeated. I'm not saying anything that we don't know.
Means, but
Well, what it does mean is that neither of them know how to lose. Neither of them care to know how to lose. And I mean, we looking at a night that
getting comfy over here.
Yeah, because
we looking at a night that's gonna be unreal.
I lost my mic. I got too comfy.
We looking at a night that's just gonna be unreal. So let's get right to it. Okay. Holla at your boy. You want to embarrass me, huh?
Oh, I mean, we gonna go right into
Shawn
it.
didn't forget that. Shawn didn't forget that
go
you
over this
mentioned
couch
that.
or what? What's
No.
I'll dump you.
You know, I will say
No, because I'm going to be an innocent victim.
Shawn and Kell Brooks the biggest comparison in this fight.
And it's not a great comparison.
And
Go ahead,
I feel
carry
like
on.
I'm right there with Carson. It's not a great comparison. Kell Brook, obviously he was hurt. He suffered a broken face with Triple G. Then he went in with Earl. For the most part, he was beating Earl.
Yeah.
And gave Earl everything he can handle and more.
Close fight.
Great fight.
Yeah.
Great fight. Earl ended up getting a stoppage. He took a knee. Shawn Porter, Earl. Hell of a fight. Mm-hmm. I've never seen Shawn prepare for a fight in my life the way he did. Everything he got, everything he put into that fight. And I think that's that underdog role, maybe the ish talking.
Absolutely.
Everybody disrespected. I got disrespected being his friend from people. And I think everything motivated Shawn, and this was what Shawn worked his whole career for this moment. Mm-hmm. And I think that night, Shawn gave it everything he got. Mm-hmm. So in that night, we seen Earl be pushed to the limit, but never break. And that's the problem. You got a lot of people seen Earl being pushed to the limit in these two fights, but think about it, he never broke. At the same time, we never seen Terence Crawford get pushed to the limit. Maybe he's that damn good. Maybe he is. And he's passed the eye test 39 times? 39 times with ease.
I was gonna say 45.
Yeah, but in the Kell Brook fight, I felt Kell Brook, with Terence, Kell Brook was shot.
He was cooked.
He's took in a Errol Spence beating, a Triple G beating,
Hadn't fought
stabbed.
He hadn't fought at welterweight in like 5 fights
Coming
or 3
down.
fights or something.
So that's the thing. And I take nothing from Terence Crawford. He did what he had to do, but Kell was getting off on him with the jabs.
Yeah.
If you notice, he was swollen up after 4 rounds. Threw a hell of a shot and Kell didn't know what the hell happened.
Yeah.
And he was out of there.
Which actually led to the best argument the PorterWay Podcast ever had. You remember how mad Shawn was about that?
Yeah.
The Shawn was like, why didn't Kell do something? I was like, dude, he didn't even know the fight ended.
I mean, he hit him with the shot. And my man goes all the way across the ring.
He literally didn't know the fight was over when it stopped. So that's why he didn't do anything, damn it.
So now to the part of Shawn Porter.
Yeah.
I'm watching the fight, rewatching the fight. First time ever.
Yeah.
Love my guy, know my guy. 1 round in, I said, my guy ain't gonna win this fight. That's me rewatching the fight.
Yeah.
Did you try to put any money in on DraftKings that Shawn was going to lose that fight? That's nice. Like an ESPN Classic.
This dude's an idiot, man. This dude's an idiot. It was points on the... Hey, shout out to Shawn. Shawn came out immediately and threw something big.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shawn...
Sure did.
Yeah, he shot out immediately and got on his... But I felt there was moments where Shawn Porter can go Shawn Porter. Shawn never got on him. I don't know if it was the respect, the preparation. I can never speak for Shawn.
Yeah.
Know him, love him. I don't know, but go ahead. You're here.
Go to our Patreon right now. Patreon.
God, hell no. We're not doing that.
TPWP.
Yeah, no, it is important though. I'll co-sign it. I don't like to co-sign Shawn, but I will in this case.
Right.
We are not going to release these 2 episodes until the end of next week before this fight happens. But what you do see is you see me answer all of the questions that could be presented about both of these fights. I mean, at least to the best of our ability, your ability.
It was,
you know what I mean?
It was satisfactory to me.
Okay.
Like, it made sense to me.
So I'll speak from my I just didn't see Shawn give everything he got. I'll say it's one of those things where you speak about retirement, you're out the door already.
Yeah.
And Terence Crawford did what he had to do. I felt like Shawn felt like they had an agreement, and Terence turned it on, and Shawn wasn't ready to go to that level. That's what I felt.
Yeah.
From me watching that, because for the most part, I had it 5-4 at the time. Had Shawn down 1 round, but could have went anyway. And at the same time, I felt, controversial ending, stoppage, whatever.
Yeah.
Shawn would have got up and he would have fought, and it would have fought till the end. Who knows what could have went? Terence could have got on his ass. Shawn could have drew, because at that point, I mean, who knows what the scores? He could have came up, won the fight, tied, whatever. But I just felt like that wasn't a shame. That Shawn Porter with Spence never prepared the way that Shawn Porter ever again. That was never the same Shawn Porter. All due respect to you, I just felt like that moment, it was just, and maybe just the loss, this tough loss took so much out of you, just like, what was that worth? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, he did a good job again. Go to the Patreon.
Breaking that down.
But I also assume there will be clips throughout the week. Shout out to Kid Hyphen. But yeah, he did a good job of breaking it down. That it was the factors that, because when we rewatched the fights, I had never rewatched it. He had never rewatched it. And multiple times in the Bud fight, we were both like, "That fight's okay." Like it was just kind of like it's an okay fight. Like
it was like
we weren't like
talk.
blown away. Like the Errol fight, you're like
Yeah, it was like
into it. Like that one, we're like, it's a good fight, but like it wasn't. And then but
this all I felt.
he kind of explained. He explains why, going back to the conditioning that everyone talks about with the preparation when KP mentioned it, and why there was less aggressiveness offensively, which it was. I thought he broke it down pretty well.
And at the same time, I know you guys saying Bud hater at this point. I love the Bud. Bud is my guy. That is good.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. It ain't his fault. What happened with Sean Wapner-Kell, once they got up in there with him, he handled business.
Yeah.
And it could possibly, he can get up in there, who knows, and clean Errol up. Could be one of the easiest nights ever for him.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like it's going to happen, but Terence is that damn good. But I'm going to let Carson get on it right now. Because Carson's got it. I wish we can get behind the scenes of Carson and Crawford's
We can
arguments.
anytime.
But I'm going to let Carson get on it right now. We're going to let the man with the plan get in there.
Well, so the one thing I wanted to mention when you were saying, like, people saying Bud hater,
Yeah.
in a fight like this, there's going to be varying levels of your fandom of a fighter. But, like, the way I feel, the way you feel, the way Shawn feels, like, it is a 50-50 fight. Like, I think Errol wins. That doesn't mean... But there are definitely people on the spectrum of that are, like, diehard Errol Spence fans that they're going to be disrespectful to Bud. They think this, and this. There's going to be Bud fans the same. Feel the same way about Errol. Disrespect him. So I don't think there's, like... If I pick Errol Spence to win, which I do, I don't dislike Bud.
Yeah.
And I don't think he washes him. I don't think, like, a fight at this level... Like, it's 1A and 1B. I just think Errol happens to be 1A.
Carson,
Like,
I don't know if me and you on the same thing. Only reason why I'm picking Errol, only reason, resume.
See, I just...
That's it.
Yeah. I just think...
There's no other reason why I'm picking Errol.
I just think consistency. And also, my one issue with Bud is his definition of resume, because he says Shawn had a better resume, which I adamantly disagree with.
He had a hell of a resume.
He has a great... But let's also look up the word resume. Like, I think there's maybe some... We need to open up the Webster's dictionary and look at what resume means.
No, but you just hit it. Consistency.
Yeah. Do we want to go... I know I floated out there and your communication was excellent. Do we want to go category by category?
No, there's really only like...
Or do we not even want... Do we just want to just go... break it down?
Break it down.
Okay.
Yeah. So and go ahead because...
Yeah. So I think for me, and I mentioned consistency, so these guys are the best in the game, both of them. And I just think that Terence has highs and lows, where I think Errol just has steady. He's a metronome.
That's a hell of a point.
So I think there's gonna be
a hell of a point.
So I don't gain that. So I think I was like, I made the point. What are you dapping Shawn for? But I'm looking at I think there's gonna be rounds, and we mentioned this. I don't know what one we were talking about it, but I think there's gonna be rounds where Bud has like a really flashy, great round. Maybe knocks Errol back. Maybe he has, steps off the side, gets a great shot off. But I think those rounds will be here and there. I think every round's gonna be close. But I think Bud's rounds are gonna be flashier victories, where Errol is just gonna be steady Eddie, man. He's just so great. He's so fundamentally sound, where I just think he's just gonna keep on going. And the one thing you mentioned, and I know Barry mentioned it as well, with the switch hitting for Bud. When Shawn and I were rewatching the fight, I have no clue why he fights orthodox. I have zero idea. Like, he comes out.
Start.
I would start southpaw immediately.
Yeah.
He has a better jab from the orthodox stance. I took your point. But I mean, I already made that point.
No, you didn't take my point.
Patreon.com/TPWP.
I didn't really want that up out there. Like,
what you think Errol's watching this and is like, what is Carson Merck gonna say about this fight? Errol, if you're watching this, I love you. Please don't listen to me. Don't take my word as gospel. But yeah, I think if anything, it's the jab and it's a different look. But like, he switched in the second round against you and never went back. So it's like, I don't know.
Switches in the second or third round.
It kind of is what it is. Like, I don't know. It doesn't do much for me. But I just don't think Errol makes as many mistakes as Bud. Not that Bud makes a ton of mistakes, but I think he's there to be hit, as Antt mentioned earlier. Yeah. And I just think Errol's just gonna be too much.
That's the one thing about Terence's game. What me personally, I think makes him special. The fact that he can be right there in range and seamlessly make the range for me.
Yeah.
And again, like I've never really seen the way it worked out with Terence.
Yeah.
Where it was like, I know my range and then it's gone.
Yeah.
I know my range and then it's gone, you know? And he has the ability to do that. Take the range away, make it look invisible, and then he also has the ability to punch in between guys who are punching. You know what I mean? That's one thing, that's something else that I think is extremely crucial for him to do in this fight. And then the thing about it is you're not asking him to do something he's not capable of doing, you know? So
where do we think, what do you think? Go ahead.
I just got a statement.
A written
Floyd
statement?
Floyd Mayweather. No. That's something Floyd Mayweather say.
Okay.
He would say it, but he would never do it. Both these guys, if you make a mistake, you got to pay.
yeah.
And they both, watching their film lately, they have flaws.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Get up Errol Spence.
Yeah.
So Errol Spence is definitely heavy about lunging, extending.
Yeah.
He gets himself out there, and if you throw that shot with Terence Crawford, Shawn, you leave all this open.
Did you have this plan, by the way?
No, you had all this open. You will go to. He's going to go to work. Okay.
Yeah.
One thing about Terence Crawford, lunging, he's not the guy to lunge at.
Yeah, sure.
That you Dennis guys. I mean, even with you, I think at times you made him pay when he lunged. Mm-hmm. That's one thing I know. He overextends at times, and I feel like that's the biggest downfall in Errol Spence in this fight, which could possibly get him knocked out. That's the biggest worry I go to about him. So that flaw in his defense. Let's go to Terence Crawford's flaw on his defense.
So you did have this plan.
No, I
Go
did not
ahead.
have this plan. Terence Flawford. I was thinking about crawfish and fishing.
Yeah.
Terence Crawford is there to be hit, man. He believes in Terence Crawford more than you believe in you. So he's on line to get hit.
Yeah.
He's there for the jab. He's gonna get. Shawn is more of a jab. He's gonna be hitting with power jabs on Saturday night. Has to get his head off the line, man. Has to get it. Has to do a little bit more than just believe in Terence Crawford. Otherwise, it's gonna be a hell of a night. And that investment that Errol Spence is gonna start, because in the first 10 seconds he's fighting.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys noticed that. In the first 10 seconds, Errol Spence is
10 seconds.
Yeah, he's fighting.
Yeah.
So during that whole time, 8th, 9th round, that investment will pay off.
We already have banked the early rounds.
So it's just little things those guys need to work on defense. They ain't got. I would say the better defense would be Errol Spence.
Work on.
Yeah.
The work is done.
What?
You better get your head off
Well,
line.
speaking of the work, that's where I was going to go. What do you think corner wise? Where do you think
Derrick
the edge is?
James.
I
Not
think
even
I'm not.
close.
I don't even think it's close.
No
disrespect to Bomac. I think Derrick James is that good.
Yeah.
And Bomac, I'm like, he's a great trainer. Like,
I don't know how you really particular about working other people's stuff when it's time to fight. He was in Oklahoma last night.
Yeah,
Are you okay with that?
The work's
I'm
done.
okay with that
point.
because the work is done at this
Okay.
So I'm okay
I
with
had the
that.
same thought that
Yeah.
I was like, wait a second.
The dynamic is different. You know what I mean? And if my dad went, like Barry had to be there. If Barry Wade had to be there. Both of them had to be there. The whole team. If my dad went, the whole team got. So I was really, really. You're right. Like really meticulous about those things. But I think when you truly look at it, and we'll go back to the fight with the Mean Machine, and they went to the corner several times, and it was like Bomac was quiet, and it was like Bomac was practically waiting on Terence to do whatever it was he was gonna do. And I remember I was like, yo, why Terence switch and put it on this dude? I'm like, switch and put it on this dude. I asked for about two rounds, and they went to the corner and said, well, yeah, Bomac said he's just filling it out. He gonna do it when he ready to do it. And it's like, no, you gotta take charge. You gotta give him instruction and make sure he implements that instruction, So we know Derrick James, we hear that when they go to the corner, he's very, very precise. And gives instruction and
And I wonder if
makes adjustments.
what you mentioned, I was kind of thinking it as you were saying it about where I think there may be a discrepancy between Derrick James and Bomac, where I think Bud maybe is more of a dynamic and instinctive fighter, where Errol is just very technical and very fundamentally sound. So maybe he doesn't need Bomac to be that because he is doing this all calculated in his head, maybe. I don't know. That's just something that popped in my head.
100%, because then when you look at it, you say, you say Terence can make adjustments on the fly. He's the most, adjustable fighter, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
That is due to his high IQ, his ability to just be instinctive and know what I'm seeing and do what I got to do. Whereas Errol, I mean, Barry just said it. Errol go back to the gym.
Yeah.
And he working. He keep working. And he keep working. So when they come to the gym with, or when they come to the fight with, I honestly think that they're coming to fight with this. And I think that there's subtle adjustments they're going to make, but there aren't going to be any big adjustments. I don't see Errol going from being an aggressive fighter in the first 3 rounds to all of a sudden catch and counter and draw him into you and see if we can change the dynamic of this fight. Those are like big adjustments, and those are things we've seen Terence do.
What do you think from a standpoint of experience? Obviously, they're both very experienced, Bud coming up different divisions. Do you think Errol has an edge in the big fight experience, whereas Bud may not?
At this point, I really do think that whatever Bud has not experienced, let's say hypothetically, there's 50 there on fight night, which I don't think that's even
50
possible.
Cent? Tony Yayo?
I don't even think that's possible. But let's say Terence has only fought in front of 20.
Yeah.
That's cool because this underdog mentality that I got, that's going to make up that other 30.
He's been the underdog his whole career, allegedly.
Yeah,
even though it's never once happened, but God love him.
So,
You know, everybody, I think people just so much on Errol in this comparison, just because we didn't see Terence struggle. That's my biggest thing. But and boxing, you know, sometimes you win. But do you guys agree sometimes you need your ass whooped in boxing? Not. I'm saying Floyd Madonna.
That way, not
Floyd with Cotto, he still won, but he got his ass whooped. He won the fight, but the war.
Yeah.
And like that makes you a better fighter. Do you believe that? Because I feel like for the most part, Terence, Mean Machine.
There was a guy that
the
said
good part about Terence,
adversity makes champions was a phrase I picked up once.
Well, the good part about Terence is even though he's not a spoiled fighter. He's just a fighter who has just won and has continued to win. But he's not a spoiled fighter where we're going to put this specific style in front of you because we know it's going to make you look fantastic on fight night.
Yeah.
He just continues to win and ain't had his ass kicked. The ass kicking that I personally think Errol received was the car accident. I think the car accident is what improved Errol.
Okay.
I think people doubting Terence is what has forced Terence to continue to get better.
That guy is fueled by doubt, man.
Yeah, so I mean, where Barry said he wished his fight had happened 3 or 4 years ago, you might be looking at a Shawn Porter versus Keith Thurman kind of fight, where it's still an amazing fight. But there's no telling what that fight would look like if it had happened. That fight happened in 2016. If that fight had happened in 2019, there's no telling what that fight would look like.
And what, maybe I'm missing something, but what has not stayed where it was at those years ago? Like, have you seen Errol drop off at all? Have you seen Bud drop off?
No.
If anything, I've seen both of them improve. So I don't quite understand that.
It'd be different if maybe one of them took a loss. I
You have the narrative of the car accident being that loss.
Yeah, but like,
you have that narrative.
Neither of them took a loss. I didn't watch. I didn't watch. To be fair, sorry, Terence, I didn't watch him against Avanesian, but like, I don't think anyone was like, "Oh man, Buddy's slipping against Avanesian."
Yeah.
And then Errol in his fight with Ugas, like I didn't see that and was like, man, I don't know. Like, I think they're both at the best of their game. Yeah.
He had a moment.
His story about the mouthpieces was hilarious.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Which is also on the Patreon. I'm telling y'all,
He
go
also,
to our Patreon.
no, wait a second. He told that story. What are you talking about?
Hey, I'm like, y'all got Errol on Patreon?
But there's a better version of that story on the Patreon.
Of him telling that
there's
story.
There's a better
That's
version
all
of
we
that
can
story
do.
on the Patreon. Okay? That you didn't even see. So
Doesn't make any sense.
What? Did you the one do the mouthpiece?
no, man.
Okay.
You got to go to the Patreon. Check it out.
I even got to go to Patreon.
Yeah,
I'm already unsubscribing.
But man, this is hell of a fight. My thing, how, like people say, obviously I got Errol, but man, I could see Terence knocking Errol the hell out. Over the top of the jab, hurting him. And if Terence hurts you, you're food. Ain't no way I'm going to give you a chance to sniff.
Yeah.
Hey, you're food.
Yeah.
That's what the counter shots and Terence being so damn good. And ring IQ, I edged Terence very slightly, but I feel like little things like that he can pick up on Errol and could get Errol out of here.
Is it a hot take that I don't think either of them goes down in this fight?
No. I mean,
Because I feel like people are kind of like insinuating that they think one of them will go down at some point.
I'm just so ready for this fight to start.
But I don't think either of them goes down.
I'm good with a 50. I'm most likely I'm saying a 50-50 fight all the way to the end where we just getting moments where it's just like Sean's been in 2 fights where it was just all about moments, Sean.
Yeah.
It's like you got down. I'm gonna get you back.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what the walkouts are, to be honest with you.
Me and Sean talked about that.
Because
who going first?
I hope they come.
well,
for it.
so allegedly there's gonna be a coin flip.
Yeah.
Which-
That's what I told him.
They ain't flipped the coin yet.
I don't know when they'll do that, but
Yeah, I hope they both come with some fire.
Errol should walk second. Let's just be candid about it. But he is the A side.
He got all the belts in it.
Again,
Another thing is, at 147, shout out to Terence. You only faced one champion. You know who that champion was?
Jeff Horn.
Errol Spence faced Shawn Porter, world champ. You did his
Kell
Ugas, world champ. Kell Brook, world champ. You
Yeah.
faced Jeff Horn. Those guys,
Yeah.
watched by all 3 of those guys.
Yeah, I hope Errol walks second. But Bud, I mean, back to I don't know what he came out to the Avanesian fight.
So he came out against Shawn.
Well, he did Shaka Khan against
Shawn?
Kell, which was great.
Okay.
And then he came out to I'm Bad, LL Cool J. Which at the time I mentioned when Shawn came out, I was like, damn, hell yeah. Then all of a sudden I heard I'm Bad, and I was
Hey,
like,
don't care. I'm
Muscle-
riding with my guy.
he said
He
muscle-
could have came out. Shawn could have came out the Barney.
he said muscle bomb in and put his face in the sand. I said, oh boy, we're in trouble here, boys.
Oh man,
You want to do official?
PorterWay
Do you want to do an
Podcast
official prediction? Because we're here. You can't.
Absolutely not.
No, you can't. We can't dance around this. The
Just
people
need
have
this
asked
fight
for
to
it.
start.
I'll start. You go. He finished.
Okay, go ahead.
Boom. This fight, man, hell of a fight. 50-50 all the way around.
You
man.
can tell Floyd's your favorite fighter the way you say "hell of a fight."
Hell
by
of
the
a
way.
fighter. I say hell of a fight.
Yeah, not hell
I
of a
say hell of a
fighter.
fighter. Two hell of a fighters.
Yeah.
I don't even know that makes sense. But,
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you good, man. This is gonna be a great fight, man. Honestly, y'all, my heart is pulling for Bud. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. That's my guy. I rock with him all day long. I'm a man of my word. At this point, I gotta go with Errol Spence. But if Bud get him out of there, I'm okay losing my money to Terence.
Yeah.
It's not a problem, man. But it's gonna be a hell of a fight. I feel like moments, man, moments. Terence I'd say Terence got to win the jab war because he's gonna jab inside. Terence got to be able to get in, get out. Keep your back off the damn ropes. When Errol Spence sees your back on the ropes, it's like go time for him. I don't know if you noticed that. In your prep, I think you noticed that. If he gets you on the rope, he going to work. He throwing combos. He getting this shit off. Terence. Man, I'm trying to think everything I tell Terence to win this fight, man. Move, man, move. When that man gets too close, tie his big ass up.
Who's stronger between those two? By
I'm
the
going
way?
with Errol Spence.
What about you? The guy that's been in the ring.
Listen, man, you seen what happened in the fight with Terence.
So you think I'm about like physically, like they tie up. If they were to wrestle, I know Bud is a wrestler, so I might hedge him. But physical strength, do you think?
Did you know this? What they both fight? Terrence's first fight was at super lightweight, super welterweight. Yeah, if you go back and look it up, Errol
Super
first
welterweight
fight.
is 154, but go ahead. I got you.
Light welterweight.
Yeah, I got you.
Earl first fight was at super welterweight.
54 against 140
Yeah.
when they first. Yeah.
Fight night, what you think they come in at? 155. I'm guessing 155 versus 175.
Jesus, I don't think it's gonna be
That boy
drastic.
is big.
Yeah, he's a big.
155 and 165.
Hell no.
I think Errol be around 65.
So I don't. For my prediction, I also don't care who wins the fight. Like if Bud wins, I'm not gonna be like, oh man.
Yeah, they're gonna light us up. They're gonna light us up.
The only reason that I want Errol to win is to talk shit to Bud. That's it. That is literally the only personal thing.
Okay.
I think Errol wins.
That's
If I'm just analyzing the fight, I think Errol wins. If I were to lean one way, it's just for the shit talking. But I think it's gonna be a close fight. I think neither of them goes down. I just think it's gonna be a matter of if there's a round where you can kind of lean one way or the other. I think Errol is just gonna be so steady, so consistent offensively, where I just think the rounds that are close, he's going to bank, where Bud, I think, is going to have to do something special to overcome that. So I'd lean him on points.
Now I go my final thing because I never got it.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think the investment to the body will slow down Terence Crawford, end up making him stagnant, and his body will fail him. 11-round stoppage, Errol Spence.
Oh, man.
And you know what? And this is another thing about Terence is whatever he hears, he's just gonna grab onto it.
Oh yeah, he taking all this.
And so he going to the ring like everybody talking about this body work. I'm gonna get this body work. And if he goes to Errol Spence's body, which we've literally never seen anybody do, the whole complexion of the fight changes.
Yeah.
That's why this is a great 50-50 fight. And I'm going to go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app. I'm going to download that bad boy.
Yeah,
I'm going to sign up, get my $5 and my $150, and I'm going to talk to you about some of these incentives over there because some of these bets is crazy.
I love.
And I want in on some of it.
I love both these guys.
But
I love them as fighters and dudes. Like they're
got to.
both great dudes,
You got
both
to.
great fighters.
Yeah.
We're gonna get something special on Saturday.
and it's crazy
And I'll
because
be at
in the
Antt's.
sports book, Terence is the favorite.
Yeah.
Earl is the underdog with all the belts.
Goes back to him being the underdog his whole career. He's not even the underdog in this fight.
And one thing I like, another thing with Earl is I like that he did what he said he was going to do. He's a man of his word.
He's the truth.
Damn, you almost choked trying to say that.
No, he is because I remember when Shawn and I can't remember why you weren't there, but I made a return appearance, and it was when he was fighting Avanesium. And I was like, Errol Spence never lied to me. Anything he's ever said he's going to do, he did. Mm-hmm. Whereas Bud goes, fights Avanesium, whatever. We're past that, thankfully. We never have to talk about that ever again.
Yeah.
But Errol, he said he was going to spin the block. He spin the block. So
It's truly going to be an amazing fight.
Yeah.
I'm not
going to be a
picking-
fun week, too.
You know what?
Just pick.
Listen,
Let's just
I
do
will
it.
pick Terence Crawford. And I will pick Terence Crawford
So we got
because,
2 Earls, 1 Terence.
Okay.
and I'll pick Terence because we are friends.
Because you're a Earl Spence hater.
I am not an
Word
Errol
on the
Spence
streets,
Jr.
you're an Earl
hater.
Spence hater.
I'm not.
And I defend you every goddamn
And then
day.
you do
Well,
that.
You know,
So
at the end of the day, it's like, I don't know. How can you compare this? It's just is what it is,
You're the main. What would you say? The main.
like a litmus test.
Yeah,
people
litmus test. But at the same time, Sean, what we said, style make fights.
Styles make
The Rand I got it written there. The Rand Hagler close. Hearns KO Duran. Hagler KO Hearns. Yeah. Style make fights.
Yeah.
Shawn Porter, Kell Brook really don't mean ish.
Yeah.
On Saturday.
Yeah.
No, and I'm ready to get to it.
It's gonna be a big.
What
do you think this is gonna be a big fight week here?
Oh, I'm going.
Do you think it's gonna be a
We're
big
gonna
fight
make it
week?
lit.
I truly do hope.
If it depends on the PorterWay Podcast, I'm not solely super confident in that.
Well, we are a staple, Sean. You better let this man know.
You think it's gonna be? You think it's gonna have that buzz? Like the Tank and Ryan fight was
had that buzz.
it was buzz. It was
Carson,
buzzing. Shit was buzzing.
Honestly, bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if it's just a big fight to the casuals.
Yeah.
I mean, to the hardcores.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the casuals show up. I hope. What I was getting from when we were down in Dallas, a lot of people, the ones that didn't know boxing, you know who they did know? Tank.
Yeah.
Hey, they didn't know boxing, but they knew
man.
Tank.
That's that guy.
That was so. I hope.
One thing that I think might add just a little flavor is there's actually a big soccer match at Allegiant, I think, on Sunday.
Okay.
And so you might have some of the soccer players in town already Saturday night, like maybe for some of the fight stuff. I have no idea, Man United and Dortmund.
I don't think we depend on soccer.
Well, we got the Media Blitz coming to you guys Wednesday. We'll be at the media workout. That starts at 1 p.m.
Open to the public, I believe.
It is open to the public Wednesday at the MGM Grand, where the Sportsbook is at. MGM Grand Sportsbook. So we'll be over there hanging out and just enjoying the festivities and enjoying the rise.
A live
of the
show,
energy.
I assume.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Y'all already
Well,
know.
you just said we were just going to
I
be
said
enjoying
this
the
was
time.
The Media Blitz.
Okay, go
all
ahead.
right.
It's your show. Go ahead.
Live show. Thursday, we got the final press conference live, 1 p.m.
Not open to the public.
Not open to the public. And Thursday, we're also going to do the barbershop episode.
Thursday
Go ahead
barbershop.
and let them know where it's at.
Sure. You let them know where it's at. I can't read.
You guys
Okay,
know.
no problem. We're gonna be at Fade 'em All Centennial.
Fade them all. It's Centennial.
Yeah.
What the hell?
He said, look at me. He said,
Hey, I said the same thing when I seen it.
Sean be driving. Sean be
That's
driving.
8053 North, Durango, Suite 120. We'll let you guys know. You'll see us around. Holler at us. You're more than welcome to come up. If you want an opportunity to be on the PorterWay Podcast, that's probably your best opportunity to come to the barbershop.
Definitely.
Shout out to my guys down there in Texas. They did it right. Showed us love.
sir.
That was a hell of a time. Hell of an argument. Fun with friends. Act like they've been knowing me for years.
Yeah.
So Sean, that was a
Yeah.
good time. They fed us well.
Yeah.
So Fade them all, Centennial. Bring the food.
I was gonna say get the food ready. So that'll be Thursday. Usually
We'll be
it's Friday.
there.
That'll be Thursday.
That'll be Thursday live on the PorterWay Podcast, 6 o'clock Pacific time.
You just decide on that time?
Yeah, because
I feel like he didn't even know it was Thursday until just
And
now.
then Friday,
Okay.
moving forward,
Yeah.
we'll have the final weigh-in. Will be open to the public, 3 p.m. It's at the T-Mobile.
I hope it's inside.
Yeah, they'll does not say whether or not it's inside.
Yeah,
Media
I would
Center
imagine so. Cameras will be melting outside.
I mean, yeah.
just says T-Mobile.
Because I was toasty at that Tank and Ryan press
me and
conference. That was a
Carson.
while back. We're at 1:15.
Weigh-in is Friday, 3 p.m. Pacific time, right here on the PorterWay Podcast. We want you guys to tune in to everything that we're doing Media Week. During the week
outside,
with the media, we
Jesus.
will be in the media room as well, trying to get on some whatever big guests they got out here. I'm sure Booker T will be around. So you ain't get a chance to see Booker T.
Can you
last
dig it?
time.
I took a picture with him.
Oh, you took a shot with him?
Yeah.
Did you really?
Yes.
5 times.
Did he know you?
No.
Did you introduce yourself?
Yes.
Did you say Antt with 2 T's with the PorterWay Podcast?
No, I just say Antt. I just say Antt.
He
Why
said
you
I'm
keep...
5-time champion Booker T.
Yeah.
So we'll see you guys right here this week.
If you're coming to Vegas, please hydrate. Because it's hot as shit.
Yeah, it's pretty hot out here.
Don't come out here and think you don't need to drink a lot of water.
Motivational message for the week is hydrate.
Yeah.
This is the PorterWay.